Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So today is 1 minute book recs again. This is where we get to talk about all the books we read within the past week and give you 1 minute synopsises of each book. But
first,
go ahead.
oh, you're supposed to say something. I just wanted to jump into the butt first too.
Yes, but before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because actually when we record, by the way, so when we record, you're over here. But when the video plays for everybody out there, you're actually over here. And it drives me nuts. So I should be like this, but I don't know if it works.
All right.
Just saying.
Okay, so hit that subscribe button so you can be entered in our Road to 1K giveaway. And when we reach 750 subscribers, we will be giving away the signed copy of 9 Minutes by Beth Flynn. It is an amazing book, so you definitely want it. And follow us on Instagram for an extra entry.
Yay! Okay, so Mandy, tell me about your reading week.
My reading week was a little slow. I read 6 books. And I had 2 5-star books, but one book I feel like really wasn't a 5-star because I'm irritated with it. But
okay.
But I feel strongly about rating books when I read them, and however I feel in the moment is how I want to rate it. So yeah. I guess I have 2 5-star books.
Okay. I read
511
books this week. You say that, but next week's probably gonna be slower because I leave for California tomorrow, which is the day before this video comes out, actually. But I leave for California tomorrow, and I'll be at the hospital with my kid all week long. So I don't know how much reading I'll get done this next week. So maybe you'll beat me this next week. But I did read 11 this week, and I had 2 5-star reads.
Okay.
So I think, and I have one that was like between a 4 and a 5, but I just can't quite
start reading right now so I can get a head start.
Put the book down.
It's really good.
She's in the middle of a Cora Riley book, guys. So she wants to read is all she wants.
Come on, wrap this up.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
That was a really quick 1 minute book rec.
Okay.
Wow, literally 1 minute. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll start and then we'll go from there.
Okay, ready?
Do you have my timer?
I have it.
Okay. So I read Filthy Firefighter by Emma Louise. This was a cute little short firefighter book. It wasn't very long. This is about Hayden and Adele. So Adele takes a bath one night, lights a bunch of candles, catches her house on fire, and it burns down. And Hayden is the firefighter who saves her. Tall, big, beautiful blonde boy comes in and gets her and saves her. Well, they don't get each other's names. Like she hears somebody call him by his nickname, but that's about it. But they have this connection immediately, but they don't see each other right away. Well, since her apartment or her place burns down, she's got to find a new place. So she has a realtor. She goes around, she's looking for a place. And this place that she finds is on the beach and it's gorgeous, but it has a roommate. There's somebody who's there. This person's looking for a roommate. She doesn't see who that is when she accepts the proposal to move in, but she moves in because the realtor's doing it with her. And then the next day after she's already moved in, guess who shows up as her roommate? Hayden is a roommate. So this is their story. Adele has some demons from her past that she's dealing with. But it was 4-star read. It was quick, fun, easy. I listened to it. It was cute. I liked it.
Okay.
You talk about yours.
I wanted to read that book.
Well,
you beat me to it.
I'm sorry. We were both in a firefighter mood. So did you read a lot of Firefighter this week?
2.
Okay, yeah, pretty much. All right. Okay.
All right. So my first read of the week was Unravel Me by Kendall Ryan. This was a 4-star read. This is about Ashlyn and Logan. And I put Logan's name in air quotes because Logan has amnesia and he does not know who he is. But get this. He is being held in a psych ward under arrest because they found him with like blood on him and a dead body. So, but he has no idea who he is. Nobody's come forward to say they know who he is. So it's kind of this big mystery. And Ashlyn is a psych student who is studying amnesia as part of her thesis paper. And so she goes to interview him and quickly feels attached to him a little bit, and things kind of go from there. This is a shorter read, so the book goes way too fast, and I would have loved to have seen the whole thing developed and been like twice as long, but it was still really good. I still really enjoyed it. I just would have liked things to be developed more. So
yeah, I'm kind of getting like this, like there's been a few books I've been reading lately where they take place in a psych ward situation where I'm like, oh, I could get into that trope. Let's find that trope.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, I'd need to read more, but there's something about them. Maybe at some point, if you guys want a psych ward recommendation video, let us know. We might be able to make that happen at some point in time soon. The things we get into as we read. I
would have liked to have been a little darker too, considering what it was.
If you're in a psych ward, it should be.
Yeah.
I would think. So yeah. Okay. All right. So the next book I read is actually book 2. It was a book that I read a few weeks ago. So this is Finding Their Heart. It's book 2 in this it's a post-apocalyptic reverse harem. I read book 1 like 2 weeks ago. So this is about Cora, and in this world there was like this illness that went rampant through the world, and if you didn't die from it, you woke back up and you had superpowers. It's kind of like X-Men was kind of the feel. Like they all have something unique about them. Like one guy's really good at healing, one guy can, read your soul, like read to see if you're like evil or not, kind of a thing. It sounds corny, but I really like it. I'm not going to tell you much about it because this is book 2, but Cora is found. They find her. She's been in a situation in the first book where she'd been held captive by somebody else, and she'd been raped for a good 2 years or so by this person. And they rescue her. And then they decide that they're going to keep her, and she is going to be their heart. Now there are 7 guys, so it gets a little confusing, but it doesn't, like, this is one that doesn't confuse me. So I gave it 4 stars. I'm liking it. There's one more book, and the audios are slowly being released, so these are ones I'm listening to on audio. So once the 3rd is out, I'll read that one. Okay,
my turn. So the next book I read was a book that Jessica read last week and told me to read because I was looking for something angsty, and she really misled me.
Wait, it's angsty.
It is. I just don't like these types of books. So I read Lost Soul by Emma Creed. This is an MC. This is like real MC stuff. And this is about, Haley and Jesse. Haley meets Jesse when she's 10, and Jesse comes to live with her kind of like as a brother. Her dad is the president of the MC group, but she is sheltered completely from it and lives with her mom, and they like really have very little to do with the MC. And so Jesse comes to live with her, and Jesse looks at her like a little sister, and she looks at Jesse like he is the love of her life. And this is that story. If you want to cry, read this book.
What did you give it?
If you want to be mad at Jessica, read this book.
It's so good, though. It's good. What did you give it?
This is the book I rated 5 stars, and I'm like, no, it's not 5 stars.
It is. It's 5 stars. It is. I gave it 5 too. It was good. It was good. It was good because I didn't see the twist coming at all, and it was emotional. Just know going into it, you're probably going to be a little wrecked. Sorry. Not sorry at all.
Mad at Jessica.
I need books that are going to wreck me every once in a while. And as someone who's not a crier,
if you want to cry, if you want some angst, read this book. And again, really you may find yourself mad at Jessica too.
And that's okay. I'll take your anger. Just don't leave me angry notes, because that will make me cry. That will make me cry. So the next book that I read was a reread for me, but I was feeling a little in the slump. I mean, I had a really good week last week, so I was kind of slumpy. So I grabbed a Ruby Dixon book. Mandy did not laugh. Mandy laughs. So I read Daisy's Decision. This is number 15 in Ice Home, which is a spinoff of Ice Planet Barbarians. So Daisy has been very pampered. She's led a very pampered life. She's all about like her skincare routine on an ice planet. She doesn't have like a job that she does like everybody else. She's very, very, very pampered. But then something happens in the series which causes some scarring and some bad things to happen to her, where she can't rely on her looks anymore and she feels ugly and gross. And so this is her coming to terms with what happened. It actually has a really good message in it. It's a really good book, actually. So this one, of course, Ruby Dixon's always 4 stars for me. Love Ruby Dixon. So this was her story. So I did this one. This was great. Why are you laughing?
I got distracted. Sorry.
Oh. You're laughing at me.
But you finished before your minute was up. That threw me.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'll have to title this 1 minute or less book recs.
I know. I know. I got a frog in my throat.
Really?
Yeah, I swallowed him earlier.
Wow. All right. So my next book is called I Wish I Would Have Told You by Whitney G. I rated this 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I went in blind. The author says go in blind. So go in blind. So I can't tell you anything that this book is about. Just go in blind. I will say it has a little bit of a YA feel because the characters start off in high school. But it doesn't feel YA other than the fact that the 2 characters are in high school. I didn't feel like I was reading a YA book at all. I absolutely love this. It's gotten beat up a little bit in the reviews. I'm actually going to come back, Jessica. It's gotten beat up a little bit in the reviews, and I wonder if it's because people didn't go in blind.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I absolutely loved it, so I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I just really enjoyed it. But also, I read a lot, so sometimes it's really nice to read something different and not really know what you're getting yourself into. So if you're somebody who really wants to know everything about what you're going to read, then you don't want to go in blind. And this is probably not the book for you, because I think if I would have read that, it would have taken a lot away from the book.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, which I think is part of the reason why we don't read reviews in general.
Yes.
I don't normally go completely blind into books unless I'm told to. But normally that's why I don't read the reviews, because I don't want somebody else's opinion to, influence mine. I loved it. I think part of it was because I went in blind. So it gave like a whole new feel to the book, because I didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Normally when I go in blind, though, I need to know, is it mafia? Is it small town? Like, I need to know. Otherwise, I look at the title and go, oh, that sounds like mafia. And then it's like a small town. And then my brain just goes, yeah, no, we were expecting mafia. And my brain just can't handle that. It doesn't like it.
We were expecting.
She's got her own thing going on up here. So, yeah. Did you see, who is that one author that writes all the little novellas that you like?
Jessica Kane?
Mm-hmm. Did you see she's quitting?
What do you mean she's quitting?
She made the announcement because of piracy. This next book she has coming out will be her last book, and she will no longer be writing books. That was announced, I think, yesterday or the day before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A couple of days ago.
Doesn't she have a book coming out like really soon?
Yes. She said that's going to be her last book.
That's the last one. What happened? Was there
because piracy's become a really big thing lately. Pirating books, which is horrible, because that affects obviously authors.
Oh, it's Cassie Mint that has a book coming out this month that I was thinking of. Yeah. I don't know about Jessica Kane. She writes a lot, though.
Yeah, so that's really sad. It's really, really sad.
That is.
So for my next book, I did another reread, because when I was reading Daisy's book, they mentioned another couple, and I was like, oh, I want to go back and read their book again. So So I read Stephs Outcast, which this one I think is number 13 and in the series. I could be wrong. I thought I wrote it down. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Anyhow, this is about Steph and Juth. So Juth is the outcast. He's from the Outcast clan on this ice home thing. And Steph is like, went to school to be a psychologist. And so she tries to fix everybody's problems. But this guy, he doesn't speak their language. He has a little boy that he's adopted that he considers his own, and he wants nothing to do with the clan because he was raised, or the group of people, because he was raised to be on his own and to stay away. And so this is their story. I love their story because like it's like a found family thing, and it's so, I just like theirs. I like theirs a lot. So that's why I reread this one. So there you go. I can't tell you much because you have to read the series. You know what I mean?
You're just beating your timer every single time.
Well, I mean, with those ones, it's not. I dropped my book. I can't talk a lot about it because you have to read the series.
All right.
So yeah.
Okay. So my next read was Make Me Yours by Kendall Ryan, and this is the next book after oh gosh, the book I already talked about and I forgot its name. Unravel Me. Wow, what is wrong with me? Okay, so this follows Liz, who we met in the first book. She's the friend. So Liz is like emotionally kind of just shut down from relationships, and we don't know why. Eventually we find out, but to start, we don't. And Cohen moves in next door to her, and Cohen is a volunteer firefighter, and he's just really like described as kind of like the ultimate package, basically. And Liz is like, don't want relationships, but yet she keeps finding herself waking up next to Cohen. And they don't have, it's like, kind of like a romantic relationship, but there's not a sexual part to it for a while. So it was really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't really do the book justice in how I just described it, but it's basically like two characters who have some things to work out. So there's not like this one big of there's things that happen, but it's not like this one big thing that the book is about.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
It makes
4
sense.
stars. I enjoyed it.
Good. Okay. Good. That works.
Okay.
So my next book was a little bit of a letdown. It had the bones, but okay. So this one was called Light My Fire. It's by Susan May Warren, and it is a Christian romance, which I didn't even realize it was until we were halfway through the book, which is fine. Mandy and I read Christian romance. We're Christians. It works, right? Like we can do that. Yeah, as long as it's written right. So this is supposed to be a romantic suspense, and it was more on the suspense side than it was on the romance. And I just didn't feel the connection between the two main characters. So this is about Tucker and Stevie. So Tucker is a fire jumper, and this takes place in Alaska. And she did Alaska right. She knows what she's talking about. They're north of Anchorage here. They're at Denali actually, and there's a fire, and he's up there fighting the fires, and he's gotta jump out of the plane and go fight the fires. And then you have Stevie, and she is a U.S. Marshal. And so when this fire gets out of hand, it's in the summer, it's in Alaska, it gets dry, and they need help putting out this fire. So they have some of the people from the local prison come to work with these guys. And one of them, Stevie, is actually supposed to be taking somewhere else. And so she goes out into the bush to get this person because he wasn't supposed to go out on the fire crew. He was supposed to be in her custody. And things happen. This takes place over like 2 days. And their connection is just, I didn't feel it. So I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed the story. It had great bones. Where's the connection? And you don't typically fall in love in 2 days. So talk to me, people, talk to me. So it just didn't work. So I don't care when there's not smut in the books, but I need that connection. So yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Next.
Okay. So my next book, before we even get started, please tell me how I'm mispronouncing this person's name.
Okay, I love this game.
Danilo. I wasn't that far off. Then.
You were doing so good.
I am so proud of myself. Danilo. Okay, and then Sophia I got.
Yes. Yay. Good job. Woo!
So I read Fragile Longing by Cora Riley. This is about Sophia and Danilo. And Danilo was supposed to marry Serafina, who we read about
in the Kimura Chronicles.
In the Kimura Chronicles. I was trying to remember what book she was in. Was it Twisted Pride?
Twisted Pride, yep.
Okay. And so, anyways, if you've read that, you know it doesn't work out. This is a standalone book, but I would really encourage you to have read Twisted Pride before you read this, so it'll make a lot more sense what's going on.
Yeah, 100%.
So Danilo was supposed to marry Serafina, and that does not happen. And so now he's promised to Sophia, who is Serafina's younger sister. And then I got a little bored with this book because Serafina is like gone, but Danilo is still supposedly longing for her. And Sophia has always had a crush on Danilo, but she's 12. And a lot of the parts of the book where she's very devastated and brokenhearted that he still wants Serafina, she's still 12. And it's not, he's like, she's a kid. I don't even want to think about it. So it's not anything icky like that. It's just like, it's hard to feel angsty or emotions when she's 12. And then it's not until she gets 18 that things like start to change between the two of them, because now it's like serious, like, okay, we're going to announce the engagement and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I just got a little bored with her pining for him when she was too young. If she would have been like 16 when she then got promised to him instead of Serafina, I would have been probably all over that, because those emotions to me would have made more sense.
Yeah. I mean, the guys I crushed on at 12 and the guys I crushed on at like 16, 18, totally different ball game. I wouldn't want to marry any of them though, but still, I'm just saying, totally different ball game. Think about that. Well, yeah, no, we're grateful I didn't marry the one I crushed on at 12. We'd be in trouble.
We would have been in 7th grade, turning 13 in 7th grade.
You know mine. Mine was the same person my whole life. We're grateful. We're grateful, okay? He was 5 years older than me. We're grateful. Very grateful.
When I was that age, I joined track because somebody told me that we were a junior high. The junior high kids got to practice track with the high schoolers, and I had a crush on one of the seniors. So I was like, okay, so I joined track.
I find it funny, and I know we've had this conversation before, but there were guys that I hung out with. All the guys that I hung out with in youth group and stuff that I was friends with were all like 4 years older than me, 3 or 4 years older than me.
Hussy.
We were friends, just friends. That's it, just friends. I never was really attracted to any of these guys. But the minute I turned 18 and graduated high school, a lot of them, like there was several of them that were like, well, I held back because you were 4 years younger than me or whatever. And there's this big age gap between us. And I laugh now because I'm like, my husband is 14 years older than me. So your little 4-year age gap in the end.
Oh, hold on. There is a huge difference though if somebody's under 18.
Yes, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I'm laughing at them, like, because even, we were 18, 19, 20, and they'd be like, oh, if I wasn't 4 years older than you. And I'm like, whatever. But we were also very mature for our age too. I was anyway. No, we both were, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten along. I'm just saying. I don't know. Thank God none of those guys worked out either. Those were just friends, and I wouldn't have wanted them that way. No. I never liked anybody my age. Just saying. Cut it out. You can cut that out. You can cut all that out. Not all of it. Some of it. Okay, ready for my next book? Are you ready for my next book?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So this next book was a little bit of a pull on the heartstrings book. This is Searching for Harmony, and it's by Kelly Elliott. This is a firefighter romance, but this starts out with Preston is our firefighter, and then you have Harmony. So Harmony got married right out of high school. Her parents kind of disowned her. She got pregnant right at the end of high school, and she married the guy who got her pregnant. even though they had just broken up like the week prior, and then she finds out she's pregnant. So they decide to get married and they decide to try and make it work. In the opening sequence of this book, there is an accident and she loses everything. Definitely check triggers. She has an 18-month-old. Okay. So this is not easy. Preston is the firefighter, an EMT, that is the firefighter that is there on the call at the car accident. And he tries to save her family. And he's devastated when it doesn't work for him, that doesn't happen. And she wakes up in the hospital and all she has left is her brother because her parents have disowned her. And so Preston comes to the hospital because there's something about her and that devastation he saw on her face. And from him seeing her at the hospital, they develop a friendship. But this book goes through the motions. This book gets pretty, not necessarily dark, but it gets into the depths of like dealing with that trauma and that loss. And it was 4 stars for me. It could have been even angstier. I'm just saying. I listened to it and I listened to things pretty quickly. So sometimes when it's this emotional, it kind of gets through those parts for me. So I don't get as emotional. But it was very, very good.
Why didn't you tell me to read this one? I'm like, I need something angsty.
I don't think I'd read this one yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if this one's as much angsty as it is break your daggone heart. So just, Okay. What's your next book?
Okay. My next book was all over the place. So it's Halligan to My Axe.
Oh my gosh, I had that one. Okay, tell me.
Oh, by Annie Lynn Vale. So this is about Kettle and Adeline. Oh, so much was happening in this book, but the only thing well developed in the entire book was the epilogue.
Oh.
So too much happens in this book. I don't even know. So I rated it 3 stars because there were times where I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. And then we would like, things just did not get developed. So a note to authors like Jessica, you had your note last week. This is my note this week. Like pick 1 or 2 plot things, like, plots, and stick with those. Having too much going on can really take away from your story and leave you with a lot of confusion. So this is Adeline like moves in next to Kettle, and I don't even know how to talk about this book. Or excuse me, yeah, Adeline, she moves in there and she had worked at this factory place and she found out they did testing on animals. So she brings all these like she steals all the animals and brings them home. And then people are like smoking pot. And so then she can smell it and thinks like something's happening, like there's a fire or something. I don't know. It's just a lot. Like her house almost burns down multiple times. And so Kettle is the firefighter. He's in an MC, but he's literally Toys for Tot MC. Like they actually.
That's a lot of tropes.
Yes. Yes. He literally like goes on a Toys for Tots run. So it's like totally Toys for Tots. But he is concerned she might be concerned about being with him because he's in an MC. I just didn't understand that part. And then like there's stuff going on with her brother. And then there's like this whole horrific backstory that he has. But we don't find out about that till later. And then he like massively overreacts. And then that takes us in this whole other direction. It was just way too.
It was a mess.
Stuff.
Okay,
but
I'm glad I didn't
good. And the epilogue was funny. I enjoyed the epilogue, so that probably bumped it from 2 stars to 3 stars. But
read a whole book for the epilogue. Yeah,
it was the thing with the epilogue though is there was an event happening, and it was written out. There, like it played itself out. Where these other things were just like, oh, this is happening now. This is happening now. This is happening now. This is happening, and it was just too much for me.
Too much. Just hearing you talk about it is too much for me.
Yeah, but I don't think that it had that bad of ratings on Goodreads, so maybe it was me. Okay, I'm out.
Okay, I'm in. Take me in. Okay, so let's talk
Well, can
about.
I just read while you talk about the rest of your?
No, you cannot. You have to
I
pay
am
attention.
kidding. I am kidding.
Engage
I am
me.
engaged.
Okay,
Oh,
you're gonna want to hear about this next book too. I'm just saying.
okay.
So this is another firefighter romance. This is called Broken Love Story by Natasha Madison. We don't see a lot of firefighting in here, but we do. Our hero spends a lot of time at the fire hall, so he gets a lot of phone calls and texts while he's at the fire hall doing his thing. There's 3 books in this series. They're interconnected. You can read them all as standalones. Is it interconnected? Read them all as standalones. You can't read them as standalones. I don't even remember what number this is, but this is about Samantha and Blake. So in the opening of this book, Samantha loses her husband. And she is a single mom now with 2 kids. Her husband has passed away. Blake is a firefighter. Blake's sister was also married to her husband. And all this comes out when he passes away. He had a whole second marriage. And Blake,
What?
Yes. First part of the book, so I'm not giving anything away. Blake being a good man, because there's a lot of things going on with the family. His sister has only been married to this guy for like 6 months. So she's getting like the crappy end of the stick here, right? And his parents, the dude's parents, are like taking over everything. And our heroine, Samantha, has been married to this guy for like, well, they have 2 little kids, so they've been married for a while. But Blake gives her his number one night because he goes to check on her. Like she lives 2 hours away. He goes and checks on her. Something happens, so he goes to do that. And they end up kind of texting back and forth. And it's not of like, because I am attracted to you text. It's she will text him things like, did he complain about having to do things around the house for her? What was he like with her? Like as she's working through these things and how her husband could do that to her. And then from there, friendship develops and then a relationship.
So the brother didn't know either?
Guy had 2 different lives. He told everybody he was an orphan when he married the brother's sister, Blake's sister. So there's 3 books in this series. So this is their story. The other book, and they all go along the same timeline. The other book, which I haven't read the other 2, but and I want to know. The other book is of the other wife and her finding her happily ever after. And then a third one is of one of their cousin who is in the middle of all of this as well, and her happily ever after. So I gave it 4 stars. It probably is more like a 4.5. I loved it a lot. Like the more I sit and think about it, I'm like, because it had the emotion, it had the what the heck, it had it.
Yeah.
It had it. So yeah. So that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, next. We went in a whole different route for the next book. So the next book that I read is called Nina, and it's by Ann Bolter. Now this came up as an ad, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be good at all. Like those ads on Facebook and whatever rarely ever give me anything worth talking about. But this was really good. So this is a Viking barbarian romance. So this is about Jarl and Nina. So Jarl is a Viking, and this takes place, I think, in the 700s, and he gets this warship, and he is out plundering and doing his thing, and it takes him down towards the Baltic Sea. So we're kind of like in the Turkey area, where he attacks this tribe. Like he's plundering, he's doing his thing. They attack a tribe. And Nina is the princess of this tribe. And she's normally in the mountains, but they've come down for this event because she's supposed to be picking her husband is basically what's going on. And she's also been trained as a warrior. So she's not this meek little thing. But she gets captured by his men, and he takes her as his captive. And he is obsessed with her from the beginning. He wants to learn about her culture and he wants her to bend to his will. And so this is their story of like how all that plays out. This was good. This was 5 stars. This was good. This is what I was looking for. I like barbarian and I like Viking, and it was historical, and it all came together there. So I listened to it. I think it would be a very long read if you were reading it, by the way. Like physically reading it, it might take you a while because it was a longer book, but it was good. It was very good. So that was one of my 5 stars. My next 5-star is twisted. It's a little twisted. Check trigger warnings. This is your warning for this book. So this is called Better Run, and it's by Alina May. So this is a stalker captor captive, okay? It's an MFM. So there's two guys. So this is about Jaden, Cole, and Mary Jo. So Mary Jo is being watched and stalked by Jaden. And one night, Jaden kidnaps Mary Jo, takes her to his cabin in the woods. He has reasons, and I can't tell you much about him because it all plays out throughout the book. Like I went into this blind and it was so good. But when I tell you the trigger warnings, he is not nice to her at all. Like when I say she's his captive, she is his captive. And out there, then one day Cole shows up. Cole's his best friend. And they both have a history. There's no sword crossing in this one. It's just them with her kind of a situation. But they decided they're going to keep her. But Jaden he's dark and he's got issues. But he is obsessed with her. Chains her to a bed in a barren room kind of situation. I gave it 5 stars.
You're so messed up.
A little bit. Just a little. All right. And then for my last book. Again, guys, check trigger warnings on this one. When I tell you the author, you'll know why. So this is Driving My Obsession by Lauren Beale. This is her latest release. This is the 3rd book in her Hitchhiker series. They can all be read as standalones. Love these books. So this was like a 4.5. A 4.5 stars. So this is about Ambrose and Oakland. So Ambrose, when he was a baby, when he was very little, something happened to him and he has scars all over his body. He hates strippers and strip clubs because the person that did that to him had worked at a strip club and was a stripper. And so he wants to get revenge. And one night he meets Oakland. Now, Oakland was a ballerina. And 6 months before this book happens, or before the story opens up, she's injured in a car accident and she can no longer dance as a ballerina. So she is taken to stripping because she has some goals. We don't know what they are. Like we find out later what's happening and why she's stripping. But she is not the typical stripper. And so, or like what he thinks is the typical stripper. So he becomes obsessed with her because he wants to kill her in place of the person who hurt him and get his revenge that way. Yeah, he stalks her. It's good. 4.5. It's Lauren Beale, guys. Definitely check those trigger warnings, but I loved it. If you like Hitched and you like Along for the Ride, you will like this. So yeah.
Okay.
So that was my twisted week.
All right.
So guys, that is what we have for you this week.
Leave us a comment and let us know what your favorite read of the week was. And do you like twisted books? Tell us. Like, do you enjoy the types of books that Jessica seems to read? Do you like reading a book like I read this week where you go in blind? Tell us all the book things. Mm-hmm. And then make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.